Hello, my fellow library book boogers. I'm Mr. Church. Today we're going to be building a super simple structure in this cool spot I found near Sylvie and Sons logging company. It's a great spot because you can run over there, grab a bunch of logs, get some rabies from the dogs, come back here. I never actually saw this spot before, but it's amazing. There's a flat area and the best view I've seen in a long time. It's apart from last night with your mom, but let's not get into that. There's way too many mom jokes going on around here, and I'm pretty tired of it. And so is your father. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is making a very, very simple shack that anyone can make, unless you only have one of those things. You know what I'm talking about. We need to get into it. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a very simple structure, and we're not going to go crazy with anything super complicated. And then I'll show some more complicated things in the decoration part of it that if you have the means and the ability, you can try it out if you want. And that way, it's family friendly. You don't have to start saying all the special words when you're building like you did last time. And so then you won't have to bring your children to get blessed by the Pope and have him anoint you with holy water to cleanse you of your iniquity. I always build with these striped planks because it's easy for me to line them up, and then I just swap them to what I want later. And I'll just take the next 15 minutes of my life to find the wall that I need, because it's in here, but where is it? Well, there it is. Well, okay. Anyway, that was fun. Hopefully next time when we're looking for something in the build menu, we have some clown music or something we can play. Ah, there it is. Just where I thought it would be, right between two different types of walls, Okay, so here's an option you can do, a couple of half walls, so you can have like this big viewing window out the side. That's an option to utilize the view. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just use a couple of the wood shack walls that come in the game. I hope you guys are enjoying the glory that comes with exploring Appalachia. Just last night, I found something I'd never seen before. It was someone in area chat that didn't say something that they could get arrested for. Isn't that interesting? It's amazing the different things you find. You know, I've been playing for years, and I'm still coming across new things and experiencing new things. Last night it was humanity. I didn't see that before. It was kind of weird. I've never experienced it and never will again, probably. And also, if you're wondering why I use concrete triangle pieces, it's because I didn't have 17 days to look for the right piece. So it's quicker now to just build with the wrong piece and then replace, because at least now we have all the same kinds. I don't know. So I'm using different wall types because it's kind of like scrappy, thrown together look. Also, when you're building with these shack walls, I like to come out here and open them up because it adds a lot of like depth to the side of the wall, which adds detail. And you really want to focus on detail when you're building because that's what makes your build look real to people. Now, you may notice that this will not snap here because of the pavilion walls that I have. But if you place this down here, snapped to the side of the foundation, then it'll snap in because it'll snap to that other fence. And that's how I'm going to put fencing in here. I'm using these ones so that I can have this kind of fencing go all the way down the side instead of using that fencing pavilion piece that I have on the end. That's just a little thing that I chose to do. And if you don't mind, that would be nice. So I want to make something here that tells a story, and so we're going to be using items in our decoration and in our build. By the way, if you don't have this barbed wire fence, you can use, of course, this defensive railing, which comes in the game, base game. But the barbed wire fence is really nice. I think the barbed wire fence is from the Mole Miner Pails, which is a seasonal event that comes and goes. You go and slaughter mole miners that are completely passive and docile and don't have any intention of hurting you. Anyway, it makes me feel good to do that. I like to do as much as possible. Now I'm going to use this truck. It's a Blue Ridge Caravan truck, and I'm going to use this cool mole rat fusion generator. And what I'm going to do is create like my own kind of vehicle here. And this is just like here's the story in my head when I was making this. Blue Ridge Caravan Company, it's in Appalachia, but it existed before the war, and they had fleets of trucks, right? After the war, they switched over to Pack Brahmin and all that shit. You can find that out for yourself if you go help out Vinny Costa or whatever the hell his name is. But anyway, so there's going to be trucks laying around everywhere that, were Blue Ridge Caravan trucks. And given the way that this truck looks, I imagine that it probably was in a garage somewhere, not exposed to the elements. So it probably maybe even starts up and drives. It's got a couple flat tires. You see how this is floating though? I want to make this be part of the truck. And what I want it to be is like this truck has a fusion generator in it. Like it's part of the truck. Maybe they bring it with them in their fleet to provide power if something happens. I don't know. So I'm going to use this drop merge to sink it down in. If you don't know what I'm doing here, you just place down the pressure plate, pick it up and place it down again. The button will go down. And then when you place something on that, the top item, it'll look like that's dropping down into the bottom item. What's actually happening is the bottom item is being pushed up into that top item. But anyway, it's a way to get those mushed down together. I'm going to mush it further so it'll fit underneath there. Now the idea is whoever lives here found this truck, they salvaged it, they brought it here. Maybe they don't want to run it around. You can't really drive, all the roads are destroyed. But we can use this generator thing to provide power for our house, which we're kind of trying to fix up. This was like just some kind of ranger shack or something, I don't know. And we're kind of repurposing it as our workspace and also where we live. So I'm going to use the truck to power up my house. Now, there are mole rats running around in a circle in there, and I don't want those in the fusion generator component of the vehicle because those wouldn't have existed pre-war, and this is a pre-war vehicle. So I'm going to deal with that later, but for now, we're just going to put this in here, and it's going to add a lot of life to the build for a couple of reasons, but the biggest reason is that spinning component on there. Anytime you can have any kind of movement or something, it adds a lot of life to the build. Movement gives you this kind of human element to the build that you really are trying to achieve with decoration and through what you place down, telling a story of what's going on here. And you don't have to have like a specific story in mind, like I don't know what the guy's name is who lives here. I don't know who he is, what he does. But as I build, I can kind of see what's going on, and then I just kind of lean in that direction and let that dictate how I decorate the rest of it, basically. So once I got the idea for this truck, I just kind of changed what I was building to kind of fit around that premise. That's how I build usually, and it really helps making like immersive stuff feel real and lived in, and I think that it's pretty fun to do most of the time, except for when my back hurts. And my back is hurting pretty bad, and that's because of carrying the weight of I couldn't really think of anything there because I haven't really even carried my own weight for a while. I've been, kind of just freeloading, eating other people's vegetables, cheese curls and things like that. Yes, I realize that I don't have to speak, especially if I have nothing to say. So let's just not worry about that though, because that's not really any of your business. I'm adding this chain link fence in here to kind of enclose this space a little bit further. I'm going to put the workspace down here, and that's going to be so cute. We can have all our crafting benches down here so the camp will be functional, and also the living area above. But I don't want to make it too domestic upstairs because I want this to look like it was just kind of a shell of a place, and then the person moved in after the war. So that's kind of the theme that I'm going with. I did fast travel here, and I realized I was at the bottom of the cliff. If something like this happens to you, you can move your spawn point by moving the camp module in your camp. I will note that your spawn point is different from other people's spawn point, so you can not really get people exactly where you want them and you where you want them, but it's my camp. I don't want to spawn at the bottom of the cliff. You tend to spawn northeast of your camp module, so I'm just moving it this way more so that I can have a little bit more space to the northeast, and hopefully I'll spawn in over there. And you can just place it down, move it about. I'm going to move it this way a little bit, though, because I don't want to end up off that side of the cliff. And I'm going to put it this way as far as I can. Then fast travel, I went to the crater because it's a free fast travel, and I'm broke, and I came inside the garage, that's way better. I'm not down there anymore. So that's something you can do, move around your camp module. Sometimes it's very finicky. I wish they would give us fast travel mats, even if they just worked for ourselves, because you're not gonna trap myself. I don't know why they can't do that. I mean, I may or may not have a fast travel mat at one of my camps, and it only works for me. So like, why can't you just give us those? Anyway, what you just saw there, as I was talking about something completely legitimate and normal that people have, is just a quick way to make a curtain on your window using the curtain door, and it works really well. I'm going to cover these guys up, though, like I said before. Mole rats didn't exist before the war, thank Christ, so they wouldn't be in this truck powering it. This is going to be something. So, as you can see, I can use this clock here, Doomsday Clock, to cover this. It's like almost the perfect size. But first of all, it's a clock, and second, it's bulging out because that's like a dome, a glass bubble. Kind of like that game, what's it called? Trouble. You like pop it, and then the little things, and then it's trash. I don't know. How many variations of the game Parcheesi can you really make? And Parcheesi is like the most watered down version you could have. Just forget it. Anyway, I'm going to place, you can do any small floor item. Down here I'm using this truck. You're going to blueprint the truck and the clock. Name is something super creative and something that'll help you know what it is. And then we're going to grab it. You can store the components, but make sure you're, clicking on the right button and not storing the other truck. That would be kind of bad. Now that you have this blueprint, you can actually shove this backwards into this, and it'll allow you to have this backwards thing. You can do this with any wall decor, by the way. If you want to have it backwards on the wall, just make a quick blueprint and shove it on. Most of the time it works. If it doesn't work, you have to stand on one foot, pull your tongue out, and grab it with your fingers on your left hand, and pinch your nose and start singing the national anthem. And sometimes that'll help. Now you can shove this in. You want to make sure you're doing it as well as you can, because if you push this in all the way, you're gonna have to go into free cam mode to go in there and grab it again, and it might be tricky to get it out. You might have to store the whole thing and then re-merge the fusion generator, which isn't a big deal. It's super simple to do that, but just try to be careful with it, so you only have to try to do it one time. Store this, and there we have it. Those are covered up. I think that looks really good. And now our truck is a standalone thing that exists. There's no stupid mole rats. You can't see their stupid feet, of course, but no one knows what that is, and don't tell them, okay? And if I see you telling somebody about what it is, I'll just run you over with a bus. Well, don't worry about it. I want to have this here as like a door jamb that has nails sticking out of it. Oh, God. Well, that's nice. So after I dealt with the traveling... I think they just were Jehovah's Witnesses or something like that. I don't know. They weren't on bicycles. I'm not sure if that is a determining factor of what it is. But anyway, it was actually kind of nice for a change. Usually it's your mom. Try to shove this in here as like a door jamb with a nail sticking out of it. So the easiest way to do that is I'm just gonna make this a normal wall, and then you can switch it out to this pavilion wall, which is one of my favorite wall sets. That was actually from last scoreboard. If you don't have it, it will probably be in the item shop at some point, because that's what exclusive items is. It means that it's not. I don't know if they have dictionaries over at Bethesda Gaming Studios, but if you guys have some spare cash, just grab one of those old Noah Webster bad boys and mail them over there. I think they'll probably appreciate it, you know? Because then they can learn what respect, gratitude, ethics, morality. Let's take a look at the finished product. Let's not worry about that shit. Now, like I said before, there's a lot of... it's a very simple build, right? It's just a box. It's got an amazing view. What makes a build good isn't necessarily the complexity of the structure, but it's in the detail of how you do that thing. So for this one, I'm paying attention to a lot of detail. For the decoration, I use some methods that are pretty tricky. But first of all, I want to make sure you realize here that there's nothing hanging down over the edge. When you build on the edge of a cliff, make sure your foundations aren't hanging over the edge there. Someone got mad at me in the comments section because I said that. So first of all, I just want to apologize. They said I was stifling their creativity. I apologize there. I realized that, I mean, that is very creative of you to put your foundations floating, because you know how foundations in real life don't float. Anyway, these are all junk items that are inside the foundation here. They're actually placed on those chessboards. Now, I have this video if you want to check out how I did that. Like I said, it's very complicated. And then I use these conduits here as the wire for that, or the cord, I mean. And then over here I have, this is a free Atom Shop item right this month. It's called the Pet Lizard Terrarium, and it has no value or use. So what I did was I foundation merged this down into there as well. If you want to know how to foundation merge, I'll also link Nuka Violet's merge video, which is pretty good. I have this lamp there, and there's a flickering from the terrarium that looks like it's coming from the lamp. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, like I said, if you want to build creatively, that's your prerogative. Just to remember, when you're done sending that dictionary to Bethesda, if you have an extra one left over, you can send it to that person as well, maybe. Because I'm not sure if that's what creative... Like, I don't know if that's creative. Making something that looks like... I got this display thing from the Atom Shop because it looks kind of like the thing, you know, that they sit on. And I want it to look like there's power armor sitting in a power armor station, but of course you can't do that. These are all those things in the chessboard merged down. A lot of detail, like I said, that adds a lot of life to the build, and you can kind of see what's going on here. So I have like all this stuff here. The paint can is the chessboard thing. This is a busted radio that I placed through this battery. So there's like smoke from the busted radio, and it looks like it's coming out of the battery. I think it looks pretty cool. So we have like different like work areas for the person who lives here to work on their stuff. So they're very obviously like mechanically savvy, and they actually seem to be. I don't know if they're creative or not. I'm not sure if we like that being creative anymore. If that's what that means. I don't know. You know, maybe because some houses do have sticks going down from the bottom, hanging out into space with 30 tons of weight levitating in the air. I am so sorry for saying that wasn't that took away from your build looking good. Because who am I to stifle creativity and mention the laws of physics? I'm sorry. Why? You know, because maybe we don't have the law. Well, anyway, so this guy obviously lives here, and I love how there's all this movement on the generator machine thing chunk, because it just adds so much life. And I put a little chair there to show these like working little pieces of metal. Again, those are all chessboard things, most of that stuff. There's a couple of stash boxes there as well. I hook this up, and then I add extra wire. And I'm going to jump once I'm unstuck from the barbed wire. That actually happened to me in real life. And it got caught on my crotch of my shorts and ripped a hole in it. But thank Christ, that's where the ripping ended. It didn't go deeper than that. Your mother is very appreciative. I'm sure did you notice that glow when she came home today? So anyway, you can just kind of see like what they're doing here. You know, they are maybe trying to fix up the truck to get it working, but the back part of it works fine, and that's charging the whole work area. That's all being powered by the truck, and I think that's kind of a cool concept. I love like trucks and cars and vehicles because I'm 7 years old, and so let's erase that from the video. But I wish that there were more like vehicle things, and I'm really glad that they've been adding stuff like that lately because I think that it's really cool. I hope that they make them maybe better to build in. I don't know. I got this antenna thing I put up there. Wood scraps, that's good. Now, I decorated in here so that it would look, like I said before, like we came in after the war and just filled it with our stuff. So it's not like, it doesn't look like a house or anything. It looks like it was like a garage or a shed that I moved into. This is a helmet. It's a super mutant outfit helmet, and that's a chessboard sunk down as well. It's just to show that there's a lot of life and detail that you can add by using the chessboard display. It's one of the best things they've added to the game. So make sure you check out that video if you're interested. The chessboard is on the scoreboard as of now, so you can unlock it and start messing around with that stuff. And that's I don't drink that. Anyway, I also use the pillow. That's a chessboard thing as well. But just look at how... Also, oh, I also put this lamp on this chair because one time I was sleeping in a barn and there was spiders the size of my hand, and I had to use a chair as like a little nightstand, and I really wouldn't have thought to do that if I hadn't had that glorious and formative experience. That's just hospitality, so that's the last time I'm ever gonna visit that guy. But it doesn't matter. Let's not worry about that. I didn't get Tourette's or anything. Wait, what? I meant to say tetanus, so that's why I said that, okay? It was an accident. Sometimes people say the wrong word. So why don't you get off my back? Alright, so this is, I think, it turned out pretty good. I'm really happy with this build. I hope you guys liked watching it. It's very simple, like I said, but that's the point. I wanted to show like just how complete a build can look, even in its simplicity. So I did just make a box, and then I tried to make it feel alive. So that was the goal for this build, and I hope I achieved it. Either way, I really enjoy the whole truck story thing that's going on, and I think people that come across this base are going to see what's happening. They will deduce what's at least some of what's happening just by looking at it, and that always makes me happy as well. And so I don't know, I like how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing, because last time I asked people to subscribe, someone yelled at me in the comments, because that's abrasive, I guess. But thank you so much to my patrons and channel members for your support. I've been trying to add more stuff to Patreon lately, and so hopefully that's some things that you can look at, okay? And I'll see you guys in the next video. I also would ask you to please zip up your fly, okay? It's just, that thing's been sticking out this whole time, and I just